All right, welcome to another episode of the NC Collective Sports Show. I'm your host, Colin. I'm here with co-host Justin Ganzon, and we're joined today by a truly special guest. For me, this is a dream come true to be able to speak to somebody that is credentialed and is decorated as this man is in the sport of basketball in the state of North Carolina. Everybody, welcome.
Well, thank you. That's very nice of you. Very generous.
Yes, sir, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I'm 28 years old and growing up, watching you as a kid, coach those guys up and just being a figure in North Carolina to look up to and hear my parents talk about you and everything. Like I said, it truly is an honor. Can't tell you that enough, sir.
I hope they said nice things.
Oh, no, they absolutely. No, absolutely.
Yeah, I hope they weren't mad at me for missing a foul shot or losing a game as a coach. So
No, they all they talked about was you leading the 1982 team in assists, or winning a national championship or being the coach of the year. But now you're an author, so I wanted to kind of sit down and talk about that and talk about your new book.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so you recently just came out with the new book, Rebound from Pain to Passion. Can you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to write that and who inspired you to write it?
Yeah, I do corporate talks. I'm an executive coach for Vistage, which is one of the leading executive coaching organizations in the country. And when I would speak at public events, people would ask me if I had a book, and I didn't. And I just felt funny, like who did I think of that who am I to write a book? So, but I had enough people encourage me to do it. It's good for my business, gives me more credibility as a speaker and an executive coach, and I had a message to deliver, and basically, the message I try to deliver is Robin Roberts from Good Morning America says, make your mess your message. So I try to make my mess my message in my book, and also my talks, executive coaching. The mistakes that I've made, I try to teach people to help them avoid stepping on the landmines. So I had help from two guys in particular, John Black and Scott Stankiewicz, both Carolina grads. As I was thinking about doing this, they encouraged me and also helped edit the book.
Gotcha. So can you tell me a little bit about the background and what exactly they did to inspire you to write the book?
Well, I think they just encouraged me, validated. I talk about in the book, Colin, that we need truth tellers. We need people to tell us the truth. And because so many times we don't hear the truth. People want to protect us. They don't want to be rude, or they feel intimidated. But I think, if we could all hear the truth, wouldn't that be better?
Yeah.
I mean, like, tell me I'm getting ready to do something stupid. Tell me, whatever it is. And so I wanted their feedback. Is this a good idea? And they both agreed it was. And then they both, they read the book and helped me edit it. And that's a challenge. That's a lot of work, and that's a sign of good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree completely. That is one of the main things, just being able to find the people in your life that can tell you the truth that helps you improve as a person. I feel like that's helped me throughout my life as well. So former player and current UNC assistant coach Sean May said, Coach Doherty recruited me out of Indiana. I trusted him and his staff with my future. To this day, I don't regret that decision. Although things didn't work out at UNC for Coach Doherty, he and the staff always tried to help us reach our dreams and goals, and I will always respect him for that. Do you still have a relationship with the rest of the guys that you recruited on the 2005 national championship team?
I have a relationship with most of them. I don't talk with every one of them. I have talked to most of them, but the people I talk to probably regularly from that team, communicate with the best is, I talk to Sean I see him, Raymond Felton, Jackie Manuel, Melvin Scott, those are probably Damian Grant. Those are probably the guys. I'm probably missing a name or two, but those are probably the guys I've connected with the most and most regularly.
Gotcha. And I think one of the main messages of your book is setbacks lead to major comebacks. It's all about getting up and being better than who you were whenever you were down. So I want to talk about a little bit of what was the toughest thing that you didn't foresee before you took the Carolina job that you experienced when you got there? Basically, an unforeseen obstacle that you had as the UNC head coach.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think the politics of the job. I think the inner workings of the four secretaries that have been there for an average of 20, 25 years each, and then Dean Smith and Bill Guthridge being in the building, the getting the criticism for bringing my staff with me, that political, that was hard. The not feeling like everybody was working as one. That was probably the biggest challenge for me, and I think that's a direct result. When a former player, when a former coach has office in the building and still has a lot of influence, that's not normal in business, but it's somewhat normal in athletics. It's going to be interesting to see with Roy Williams. Is he going to still be in the office? What's that going to be like? What's his relationship with Hubert, which I know is a very good relationship. And then, with Coach Krzyzewski, what's that going to be like? I know Craig Esherick at Georgetown. Matter of fact, I played golf with him this weekend. And, John Thompson was in the building and still very present. And that can be hard at times. It can be good, it can be bad. The good thing is you have a resource at your fingertips. The bad thing is people can go to him and not go to you as the head of the program. And if he doesn't support you, if, in certain things, or there's any hesitancy, then it really weakens your position of power.
I think you bring up a great point in saying just that you do need a central focal point in any arena that you're going to go to battle with people. You want to have that one singular voice who kind of echoes a little bit louder than maybe you give tasks, you delegate, and you give power to the people that you're working with. But at the end of the day, to have somebody as focal and as historied as a Dean or Roy, it's got to be pretty difficult for a coach like Hugh to come in and really try and make his mark as well.
Yeah, it was a challenge, for me, the politics of it, and the thing that was really hard was I got the job in July. Hubert got it in April, and Hubert's been an assistant there for 9 years and recruited those players. I had to get to know the players starting July 11th, and that was in the middle of a recruiting period, so I really didn't get to spend time with them till school started in the end of August. Mm-hmm. And then we were 2 months away from the start of practice, and that was hard. So it was a very challenging time. I would have liked to have had more time to get to know the staff, and I would have liked to have my staff been more accepted by the secretaries and probably Coach Guthridge.
I'd like to stay in recruiting a little bit with you, because I know that was something Roy brings up. You hear it from anecdotes and different articles you read if you follow Carolina basketball, is just the ever-changing evolution of recruiting, and how you have to get very creative nowadays. But you also have to go in, walk into a family's home and instill trust. Can you talk to me a little bit about what the separation might be from, maybe a coach like Roy and, his recruitment strategy and, a coach like Hubert and then yourself, and just how, those types of ideologies can kind of, just really make a difference on the guys you're bringing in the building?
Yeah, it's hard. I think it's really hard, harder now than ever before. I think Hubert will connect with those players because he's younger, but yet he's 50. But I think he's a young 50. He played at North Carolina. He played in the NBA. I think he'll get respect for that. And then in today's day, whether it's right or wrong, being an African American will also help as he tries to connect with African American players. And I think that, I'm not saying that was used against Roy or used against me, but it seems to be obviously a hot button for a lot of the country now. So, you could put that issue to the side. Mm-hmm. But you still have to try to build a trust with kids that think they're going to the NBA after a year, whether they play in the G League, go to Europe, or play at North Carolina. And at the end of the day, most players will trust people that they've been around longer because of that time, but a lot of those people may be telling them things that they want to hear.
Yeah.
And if Hubert or Coach Williams or myself will tell them, I don't think you're ready for the NBA, then people will be in their ear saying, oh, he's trying to hold you back. When in fact, you might not be ready for the NBA. So it's hard to develop that trust now more than ever because you don't have that time with the player, and that player's high-level players usually entangled with some other people, whether it's speaker people or agents or AAU coaches.
Yeah.
And Coach, that brings up a good point. I know whenever you were coaching at Notre Dame and North Carolina, the AAU circuit was huge, in recruiting and finding players. Does it almost seem like with the transfer portal, how it is now with all the players entering that it feels almost like an AAU circuit type situation where players have the autonomy to go pick where they want to play?
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. However, it's just another layer of junk you got to deal with. How do you navigate that? How do you coach your players, coach them firmly, and risk hurting their feelings because you told them to sit down, and then they complain to their parents or coach, and the coach says, oh, you should leave.
Yeah.
And the kid's already being recruited from another school through the coach, AAU coach, and the coach can say, hey, Justin, you're not happy. He's not running you in pick and roll enough. You're not getting many shots. I've been talking to Coach at XYZ, and they'll put you in those positions. You wanna move? That's how easy it is.
Yeah.
So,
and it seems so stark difference from, a 4-year commitment used to be a 4-year commitment, or, it just, I heard it in Roy's press conference too. It's just that, you're a young man, but you're a man, and, these deals that I feel like are being made are easier to retract and run away from when the first sign of adversity hits, whatever situation you're in. Like you said, if you're not getting enough minutes, if you're not putting enough shots, there used to be a word called grit for that, where, that would upset a player in the sense of internalizing it and using it as motivation. Whereas, I mean, honestly, I feel as if the motivation in that regard has kind of left the building in a sense. And I know that's a pretty macro blanket statement, but I mean, that might be a testament to our generation as well, of just needing to really internalize what really drives us. And I feel like that's a lot of what you're writing in your book too, with just the ability to rebound, to get up and to really, brave the day, even if it makes you uncomfortable.
Well, that's the only way to grow. You grow at the end of your comfort zone. So you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and that's the only way to get better. And you do that through competition. Not every place is right for everybody. I don't have a problem with kids transferring, but I'd like them to do it the old-fashioned way, where you got to meet with a coach. It forces a conversation, and you're still going to get your release, and then you got to sit out. So it makes a kid think, all right, do I really want to sit out, or will I gut it out? And so, but it's just human nature. Everyone wants to microwave their career. They want to get it real quick.
Going down to talking about your career, you stayed for 4 years at Carolina. You played with James Worthy, Sam Perkins, Michael Jordan, all guys that stayed for more than 1 year. Who do you think was the best on-the-floor leader of that time? And also, you led that team in assists, like I said. Were you the original point forward of basketball?
Oh, you're being kind. Actually, I think Jimmy Black led the team in assists. James was a junior, okay? And Jimmy Black was probably the best leader on the team vocally. James was the guy we looked to settle the team down in terms of okay, we need a bucket. We're going to look to James because he was just the baddest dude in the country. But James was so unselfish too. There were games where I remember him saying, I'm going to pass it to you, you just shoot it. And that's tremendous leadership, tremendous unselfishness. I think Jimmy was the vocal leader. James was the de facto leader as the best player. And then, I'd like to think that Sam and I, and then Michael, because Michael was the youngest. But we were all pretty, I think, mature players. We weren't selfish. We were pretty level-headed, and we knew what it took to win.
Right. And, just going back to your recruitment at Carolina, so when did you know that you actually wanted to be a Tar Heel?
Well, I committed to them. At the time, it was the earliest commitment in Carolina history. It was October of my senior year. I fell in love with Carolina basketball probably in '76 when 4 Tar Heels were in the Olympics with Coach Smith and Coach Guthridge. And then '77, the next year, they went to the Final Four with a freshman named Michael Korn, who was my favorite player, 6'7" white guy from New Jersey, and I hoped I could play like him. So once they started recruiting me, and I felt like maybe I could play there, even though I knew there's a risk, it was over. So, and I don't regret it at all.
Gotcha, Coach. And, jumping around, I know we went back to your recruitment, but going back to your coaching career, who was the toughest player to plan against and guard in game that would make changes to what you were throwing at him?
When I was at North Carolina?
Yeah.
My first year we were pretty good. And we were ranked number 1 in the country at one point. Off the top of my head, I never felt like we were, out anybody that really scared us talent-wise. My sophomore year, in my second year, we weren't very good. And so then everything was heightened, But I guess I go back to the Duke team. They had 5 guys and 4 guys that can really stretch the floor and shoot it.
They opened it
From
up.
Jason Williams, Duhan, Shane Battier, Dunleavy, and Boozer inside. Their style, the way they shot it, obviously a challenge. They beat us twice. We beat them once at their place. Trying to think. Maryland was very good, but in terms of one player, my second, my third year, Josh Howard was very difficult at Wake Forest. He was a really good player. I don't know. There's just a lot of good players. It's hard to just say one. Then I'm trying to think my last year to think back to those teams, and I can't think of one player that just blew us out of the water. I think that there were a lot of good players in the league.
Gotcha. So, what is one thing that you would change about your coaching career at North Carolina? If you could go back and just change one aspect of it, or one decision, what is the one thing you'd change?
I would probably let Coach Smith run the program through me. That's simple. I mean, I think that, I was told that it was my program, run it how you see fit. But, really looking back, it was his baby. And I either should have stayed at Notre Dame or taken the job and say, hey, Coach, I want, I need and want you to really counsel me on every move I make and embrace that. And that's probably the biggest thing, but when I was told it's your program, I did make some decisions, and I think at the end of the day, he might not have been happy with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colin and I were talking about just a little bit of that before, we got on the call, and, one of the things we were wondering, I know who was brought in right after he's still there running the show in Notre Dame. Do you feel as if you hadn't made that move, you might still be coaching over there?
Yeah, yes. I mean, those are triggers that happen all the time. I mean, Carolina wins a championship, and I'm thinking it could have been me. Roy Williams goes to the Hall of Fame. I'm thinking it could have been me. Mike Bray has the most wins in Notre Dame history. Could have been me. That's just human nature, but that's what you have to fight. And I think to fight that, the best way to fight it is to steer from it. And I talk about it in my book, The Bridge Over the Bitter River. And I think you got to pray, pray about it. And you read the Bible and the Old Testament about Joseph getting sold into slavery by his brothers. And, why did he get sold into slavery by his brothers? And then he comes back and he's the second most powerful person in the land. And then he gives grace to his brothers when they were hungry. I was talking to my pastor about that this morning. So I won't know why I went through what I went through till hopefully I'm in heaven. But the way I'm going to use it is, okay, God, I went through this crap. I learned from it. I'm going to make my message and try to help other people and coach them to avoid the landmines I stepped on and connect with coaches and players. I mean, that have gone through some tough times and might say, why me? Well, why is this happening to me? And I talked to a couple of friends who went through some tough stuff, and I feel like now I can counsel them with some wisdom.
Yeah.
So maybe that's my role now.
Okay, I'll tell you what, just a bit about me. I moved to North Carolina in 2000, and that was from the Bay Area, California. I was 6, going into 7 years old, right? So a bunch of my friends in the neighborhood, it was kind of, you had to choose a side kind of thing. That's just how it rolls. North Carolina, you're Wolfpack, you're Tar Heel, you're a Blue Devil. And one of my best friends was a Tar Heel fan and took me to his first game, and I saw your team out there and just the energy. I mean, in California, college sports it's big, but it's it's nowhere close to what it is here in North Carolina. I can see the stark difference from a USC rivalry to a Cal versus a Duke Carolina. Anybody can see that if they have two eyeballs to see the screens and just to see the passion. So I just wanted to let you know that for me to see that team to just fully resonate with those guys, it was what acclimated me to being in Raleigh, North Carolina, from a kid from California, having a good friend to take me to those games. And I learned the game of basketball when I first moved out here. Before that, it was a couple other sports that I never thought I was going to play basketball. So I wasn't very good at it. They used to.
He's still not very good.
On the street where whoever had Gans on his team, they got the ball first. So it's a true blessing to be right here with you and just having a conversation with you as an adult now. It's kind of crazy how life goes full circle, and you really, like you said, you gotta stick with it. And I appreciate you just kind of making your message, because it definitely resolved with me.
Thank you very much, Justin. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. I couldn't have said it better myself. This is like truly a dream come true for me. I mean, you are Carolina basketball. You are a legendary Tar Heel, and I feel going back to what you said about sometimes we don't feel adequate enough. I didn't feel like I should be able to talk to you, because that's how much you mean in the state of North Carolina.
Jeeves. Hey, listen, man. Colin, that's the last thing I want to do is make someone feel like they can't talk to me. And I learned from my parents, you treat everybody with respect, and you talk to people and engage with people. That's the thing that I probably enjoy doing the most. You can ask my wife. She calls me the mayor, because I like to talk to everybody and shake hands. And thank you. And it's the fans that make it. Without the fans, we don't have the sport. You all have to be, passionate about it, to drive, to want to pay for tickets, pay for gear, watch the games on TV, because without you, we don't have a sport. So if we don't respect the fans, then we're going to cannibalize the sport. So,
Coach, can you tell the audience where they can get the book at, and all these social media platforms that they can reach out to you on?
Yes, sure. Thank you. I'm on @DohertyMatt at Twitter, @DohertyMatt. You can get the book on Amazon, Rebound from Pain to Passion. You can go to my website, rebound-book.com, and order the book. Or you can order directly from me, and by going to my email address, coachd@rebound-book.com.
It's great, Coach. Once again, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it and hope to get to talk to you again, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Very much appreciate it, Coach.
Have a good day. Go Heels.
Yeah, thank
Go
you.
Heels.
Whoa, that was wild. I think we did okay. I think we did okay.
I think so too.
I wasn't bad. I almost started crying, but
I mean, that guy is really cool.
dude, he's the coolest, bro. Whenever he started talking about the African American player thing, I was like, let's go, dude. Matt Doherty's just a real dude. He's a real one, bro.
It's funny because there's so many people that would talk around that.
Dude, he just laid into it full head on, dude. That was crazy.
No, it started like towards the end. I started feeling like just like in my body, like tingling.
I know. And then he got me. Dude, the thing is with that guy, he got me fired up the entire time. Every time he was about to say something, I was like, oh shit, like I'm ready to run through a brick wall. Matt Doherty's got me ready to fight, dude. Like I'm ready to go play some basketball. Shit. I'm about to text him, dude, and be like, "Thank you, man." Like, I don't know. Did we
The
do
crazy
okay?
thing is that I became a Tar Heel fan his first year as a coach. I mean, that's when we moved here, and I don't know what it is. I don't know why I picked Tar Heels, but I mean, I'm glad I did. You know.
I'm still recording everything we're talking about. That I'm leaving it on there. I mean,
You just got the voice recording right now, don't you?
Yeah. I don't really even care about the video recording. I feel like I look stupid, but it's all good.
Yeah, no, honestly, I would love to just put the little play button that's got the little,
No, we can do that. We can definitely do that. I mean, I have the audio on my phone. Yeah.
Sweet. And so as soon as I get out of this, I'm gonna send you the full video too, so you can have that.
Yeah, send that to me. I just want to have that, dude. Me and Matt Doherty just we just clowned on you, bro. that was funny.
Man.
I said he's still not very good. Man. He thought that was funny, dude. Damn, that was crazy. I think we did good though. I'm gonna be honest. I think that wasn't bad.
Only thing I wanted to ask him was after he talked about playing golf with
oh man, we should have got. I'm gonna ask him if they can get us on, dude, with those guys.
I just want to know what their course was when they were out there. Where are they going? Probably Old Chatham.
Damn, we should have asked him. I might text him that and ask him. That was crazy. All right, well I'm gonna. Fuck. What time is it? All right, I'm gonna kill this recording.
The recording I got is